In today's video, I'm going to be going over the sum, sumif, and sumifs functions. I'm Tyler Lewis with Lewis Excel, and I am the data and spreadsheet specialist. We can get started now. To start things off, I can show you I have a pretty big set of numbers and data here. It goes from A2 all the way down to row 358. So that's a lot of data there. There's a few ways that we can do that. This sumifs functions, and also I will be showing you a formula of how to do addition. What all this is it is adding. We are adding certain values to get a certain sum. Okay. First off, we'll start off with the formula. Now, what I'm talking about here is, as you can see, it's a sum, sumif, sumifs. If you type in this is your insert function, right? Any of these, sumif, you can see it right there. That is a function. But this, if you type in a formula, so for example, when I type in equals m1 plus m2, right there, that is not a function. You can see I didn't type in sumif, or sumifs. I typed in what I wanted. I want cell M1 and cell M2 to be added together to get a sum. That is a formula. If I type that formula in, I get $34,800, or $34,018, right? That's the same thing as if I typed in this function for sum. Now, what I just did there, I typed in sum, and now it's going to give me an option of number 1, number 2, and etc., which is it can go an infinite amount of numbers. So when I start off, if I go M1, now I don't want to do the addition number. I want to do a comma. That just broke it up. As you can see, I went from number 1. Now it's asking me, what is your second number that you want to add in this function, which I just want to add the second one, M2, right? And I push enter. I get the same thing, because essentially I did M1 plus M2, same thing there, but it was just in the form of the function M1 and M2. Now M1, M2 is Brad, and these two are, if you really aren't looking for certain criteria to add. For example, if I wanted to add only Brian's information, right? Or if I only wanted to add Stephanie's, you can't really do that in these unless if you want to go a really painstaking hard way, which you can do some. And if I just want to do Stephanie's is D1 or D2, comma, if I go down, I can find another Stephanie, D16. If I find another, oh, there's another Stephanie, right? If I keep scrolling down, I'll find another Stephanie. There's another Stephanie right there. As you can see, this can be very painstaking. It can take quite a bit of time. It just would not be worth doing this. You might as well create a data, just a box, all the boxes just for Stephanie, and then a box for Brian. But that also in itself takes some time, and the reason why people do Excel is to shorten the amount of time and to make things easier. Now, granted, just adding those up, that does make addition easier. You don't have to do the addition yourself in your head. It'll compute it by itself. But let's say we can go through and sort whatever we want. So that's what the sumif is. So we're finding a sum of a certain amount of numbers with a certain criteria, that's what the if is. So that's one criteria. So we type in, we want to find the function. We can just start typing sumif. As you can see, up here, it's trying to guess what we're typing in. And if you see it, so there's sumif, you can click on it there. You can push tab, which I always do once it's blue, or you can double click it again, and it starts your function right away. So range. right? So we're talking about certain types of criteria that we're looking at. So if we want to add all of Stephanie's things, right? So the criteria, the range is what range of cells are we going to pull from for the criteria, right? So the range of cells is I'll go from B2 and I'll push Control Shift all the way down to the end of this column here where it's filled in, and I'll go B358 right there, B358. I will fix that with by pressing F4. And that will keep that fixed, so that will not change. It'll go from B2 to B358 no matter where I copy this from. If I copy this formula and set it into here, it'll always say B2 to B358. Now, the criteria is, hypothetically, I started with Stephanie, but we will do it, we'll select cell F2 right here. And that's where we will get our criteria. So what this function is talking about, whatever value is in F2 here, and we'll pull it all out from this criteria. And we will add it we will add everything in this range, which is now the next, which is a sum range. So what do you want to add? You want to add from this whole entire column, which that is from D2, that's D2 all the way to D358. And I'll fix that as well. And let's press enter. All right, so it's starting off with $0 because right here in our cells rep box, we don't have anything. So it's not giving anything to add. So obviously nothing plus nothing is 0. But if we want to type in, let's say Stephanie, we want to say Stephanie, that's going to change. This number will change from 0 to whatever this adds up to be. All of Stephanie's cells. $331,520 after I pressed enter. So Stephanie, through in this entire column, she has produced $331,520, right? That is one criteria. That there is a limit to the sumif function. Sumif only gives you one criteria to work on. But Excel has come up with a better function, a function that gives you more range, more freedom to be more specific in your criteria. So for example, we will go, and that's what sumifs function is. So the sumifs function, if we type it in, right, go down, sumifs, I'm going to press tab, and that will start my sumifs function. So remember, if sumif ended with the sum range, sumifs will begin. So what are we adding up? We're adding up this entire column here. And we got our criteria range 1. So our first criteria range. Now this is how we start off with sumifs. What was our criteria range? What was a range from where we're going to pull our criteria from? Let's do sales rep, right? So we're going to go in sales rep and do this whole column, B2 to B358. Oh, I should have fixed them both. I got to fix them. Let's fix the first one as well. It's very important that you want to fix them. In a later video, I will go over what that means, putting those dollar signs and fixing your cell referencing. You're referencing and making that dollar sign. How important that is and what does that exactly mean. But right now, we're just going over our functions and how we're going to do that and how we're doing our sumif, sum, and sumifs functions. So right now, we got our first range of our criteria. Now, what is the criteria that we're pulling from that range? Let's do sales rep. Let's just do this one, F2. We'll fix that one right there, and we'll press a comma. Now, this is where sumifs is very important and a really great function to work off of when we're trying to compile data and through adding certain amounts of values. So our second one is our criteria range 2. So as you can see here, I've added this box here for date, right? Our range, our criteria range 2, let's do date. So for reason why I'm talking about this is I know this is very common. People in Excel create lists, create tables, create ranges of data that go on basically just like this from the start of when Stephanie started selling all the way until whenever she can stop selling product for the company she works for or whatever happens. And so we are going to do this. We're going to do this. So her range is that from what we're going to pull our criteria from. So I'm getting tongue twisted a little bit. So the second criteria, let's just do the date here. We can go for what is greater. It's greater than. We want this. This is a little bit different here. We want to go greater than. So you want to do your quotation mark, greater than or equal to, another quotation mark with an ampersand, and click this box, okay? And we'll fix that. All right. Actually, no, let's go less than for what I have my data as, less than. All right. So it's gone with 0 because in our range, our criteria, our second criteria, we have nothing. It is blank. So it's not going to add anything yet. But as you can see, we wanted to do Stephanie, but earlier in the video, you could tell that I started, this goes down past the end of the year. So how much did Stephanie really sell throughout the year 2022? What we can do is in our formula, it's less than or equal to. So less than or equal to, let's go 12/31/2022. Right there. That is how much Stephanie has sold within the year or up until the date 12/31/2022. Now we can go even further. We can go, oh, well, how much did she sell up until the date June 1st, 2022? So almost beginning halfway through the year. Halfway through the year would have been halfway through the year would have been, let's do that again. 06/30/2022. There's halfway through the year. She sold $38,000, almost $39,000 worth of product. Some ifs, you can continue that on with another criteria, and this is where this function is so amazing. Let's say we wanted to just do a certain brand of clothing, right? Criteria range, so we're just going to do the range of where we're pulling from, which we're pulling from this table. We'll fix it, and let's add this box here, which is the brand, right? So H2, we'll fix that here. Now we can type in here, brand. Oh, that bugs me, so let's make that to look the same. And here, and we'll make that look very similar too. So brand, we'll go, let's say Stephanie sold Jumpman clothing. Boom. She sold $14,000 of Jumpman clothing up through June 30th. So if we want to go all through the year, let's just go to the end of the year. She sold $25,000 worth of Jumpman clothing. Let's go and let's see if she sold any generic Kim's clothing. Generic. She sold $55,000. Not $55,985. So as you can tell, these functions in Excel really help make finding data extremely easy, and the reason why Excel is so useful, because you can find data super easily. And that is the video today of going over the sum, sumif, and sumifs function, with also adding one more, which is the formula. If you want to do some quick, simple math in Excel. And I hope you like this video. Please add any comments of what you would like to hear and videos of me posting videos, what kind of videos you would like about Excel. And I will see you next time.